Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Monday Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Kios, the Ronin Beatmaker. I'm a music producer, singer songwriter, and photographer. And over the past year, I've been going on a spiritual and mental journey, learning more about myself as a music producer and as an individual. So I decided to create a podcast to share my thoughts and feelings on this journey I continue to go on. And on this episode of the Monday Mindset Podcast, we are going to be talking about New Year, New You. So it's 2020, y'all. It's pretty crazy that we finally came to this point. You know, I think for a lot of us, last year has been a pretty interesting one, wild one, and it's time to start the new year off fresh. You got to take, you know, I would say look at the past year as a chrysalis, a transformation into the new you. And with this new year that has begun, you are that much wiser than you were the year before. So, give yourself credit. Um, I'm sure that all of you have, New Year's resolutions, goals, plans, things that, you promised that you would do the year before that, and whatnot. Um, but you got to really think about the fact that it really just takes you starting to change your mindset, really. You have to start there if you plan on succeeding in any kind of goals and any of your dreams that you have for the new year. Um, with a change of mindset, I apologize if you heard that is my dog in the background. I have a little chihuahua. His name is Pablo Picasso. But I was saying was like, with this new year coming up, you really have to change your mindset if you really want to follow through with any goals that you have. He has this thing where he drinks water really, really fast, and he kind of forgets that you need to like breathe, and he kind of chokes. I don't know. It's funny, but anyways, um, with this new year, you have to change your mindset if you want to achieve any goals in life and any goals that you have for the new year. Because the reality is that we all talk and talk and talk about what we're going to actually do, but do we actually follow through with it? I mean, how many of us say we have a New Year's to lose weight, or to stop eating sweets, to get off cigarettes, whatever it is? But we always talk about it because it feels good to talk about it, but we have this fear of following through with it because we have a fear of failing. We have a fear that we can't do it. And that's a valid fear to have, but that fear isn't going to define you, and it shouldn't prevent you, because the reality is you're going to fail with with any new goal that you have for the new year's. You're going to have your missteps. If it's working out, you might miss a day. You might be really unmotivated, undriven. You might be feeling depressed. Might be feeling upset. You want to have your comfort food rather than working out, because if you're working out, that means you have to acknowledge the fact that you need to lose weight, you need to get in better shape, your health depends on it, whatever the reasons are. But when you have your comfort foods and anything like that, your vices, it doesn't have to be food, it can be weed, drugs, it can be whatever it is. It's a lot easier to have those quick fixes because it's right there. It takes care of the problem instantly, but it doesn't solve the long-term problem. So you have to constantly keep on eating the sweet, keep on smoking the weed, keep on having a cigarette, whatever it is, because it's a lot easier to turn a blind eye than it is to stare at our problems at face value. And those can be goals. It's a lot easier to turn a blind eye to our goals than rather than staring at them, because that requires us acknowledging that we need to work on things and we need to change our habits. And I think that's something that we all need to work on with this new year, is changing our habits. What habits do you have in your life right now that are preventing you from succeeding with your goals, from following through with your New Year's resolutions, with any of those kind of expectations that you have? What are those habits? That's where you need to start at, addressing those habits. And when you address those habits, that's you, slowly taking those steps into changing your mindset. because every habit that we have and we experience, it all comes from the mental brain. Our desires, our endorphins, whatever it is, it's all mental. Even if our desires are physical, and we use those physical pleasures as a distraction from whatever we're dealing with, insecurities, heartache, relationships, whatever. But you have to start with addressing your mind, because those are where the habits are developed from. Those negative habits, those negative routines. um, there's a book out there that I suggest everyone. Yeah, you don't even have to be an artist. It doesn't matter. In my mind, I think that no matter what you do for a career, for a job, it's an art form, especially if you take, pride in it. But there's a book out there that I suggest everyone should get if they want to start this new year off on a right foot. It's called The War of Art: Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles. It's by Stephen Pressfield. He actually wrote the book The Legend of Bagger Vance, which, if you've seen the film, stars Will Smith and Matt Damon. Willie Smith, Matty Dames. It's a good film. It's not bad. I think Charlize Theron might be in it as well. Huh. Anyways, the book, The War of Art. It's a really good book, especially if you're someone that has is dealing with some negative habits. And in the book, they call it resistance. Um, and I think resistance can be in as I saw negative habits. Resistance can be in a form of negative habits, and that could be eating a lot. That could be you consuming a lot of food. That could be you being promiscuous. Whatever it is, that could be you doing hard drugs, taking pills. That could be you being mean to people. Whatever it is, resistance will get in the way of you progressing, you growing. For you and able to grow, resistance will get in the way of that, because resistance knows that if you succeed, that you will get better. um, and resistance in many ways is our insecurities, and it doesn't want us to succeed. um, we are our worst enemies, or we can be our greatest allies, but it's up for us to choose the right path. And you can choose the path of constantly giving into resistance and letting it control your life, or you can choose to fight resistance and take control of your life. And I don't try to say that to downplay whatever people are experiencing in their own lives. I don't want people to think that I'm saying that, oh, whatever you're going through, get over it. It ain't, you can handle it. No, that's not what I'm saying. We're all going through some really tough times. And yeah, it takes time. you know you can't, changing your mindset, it doesn't come overnight. It's not something that happens instantly. It took me, like I've said in earlier, it took me a year. I had to take time to really deep dive into myself. And in many ways, it was almost like me spending a year prepping myself for 2020, for the new change that's going to be coming. And that's in me. I think we all have this change. I think that there's a song by Saint Vincent, and it's called I'm Just the Same Brand New. And I think that's something that we all can take. You can still be the same person. We can all be the same person, keep our personalities. We don't have to change our personalities, but we can improve and we can grow our personalities. And, we can still be the same good person, same laid back person, same outgoing, same quiet person, same leader, same follower, whatever it is that's your personality. You can grow and be better at that personality, be better at that person, be a better individual. And that opens doors for you in so many different ways. It all depends on what you want in life. I believe as long as you're doing something positive, you're not trying to hurt anyone, you're not doing anything that's gonna you know cause people to lose respect in themselves, to cause harm. What if it's nothing negative? Then go for it. That's how I feel. And I don't think that because of with the new year starting, that we need to conform to certain types of you know social rules when it comes to doing our New Year's resolution. We don't have to do it the way everyone else does. You don't have to listen to how everyone else is telling you how to do things. Figure out how it works best for you, what makes you feel comfortable. Because in the end, you're not doing these New Year's resolutions or anything like that for anyone else. If you are, then you don't have the right intentions, and unless you're, what I'm trying to say is that, like, we're doing it for ourselves, not for other people. But if you are intentionally doing these things as a reaction to somebody in your life, I just hope that you're doing it for a positive reason, to prove them wrong in a positive way, not in a vengeful way, not in a spiteful way, not to get back at them. You know, there's this man, David Goggins, he said, instead of killing them with kindness, torture them with your success. And I think that's a much better way to approach life and the new year. And that's how I've been approaching my life. 2019 was a really tough year for me, emotionally and mentally and physically as well. I had a lot of things go on in my life that were, you know, major setbacks that, really hit me hard mentally, emotionally, my security in myself. I was really vulnerable for a really long time. And I had someone in my life who was kind of going through a similar situation as me. But I chose to change my mindset, and they chose not to. But what I'm trying to get to point is that in your life, no matter what's going on, you need to keep on making the changes. You need to keep on growing every year. And yeah, you may not succeed or follow through with all of your New Year's resolutions or all of your new goals for the new year, but start small. It's the little victories that matter the most. The small victories pave way for the long term victories. And you just have to be patient with things, and you have to be consistent. And that's the most important part, especially with the new year. If you got new goals, you need to be consistent, and you need to hold yourself accountable for that consistency and for those goals. Because if you're not going to hold yourself accountable, then, what's the point? Like I said earlier, you're just talking. And we all sound good talking when we try to convince ourselves, we try to convince everyone around us. We're really trying to convince everyone around us, because we're really talking out our ass at that point. But regardless to say, we want them to feel good because it makes us feel good, because we're convincing them that we're actually going to do it. And then if, whether it's a year later that you see them or 6 months later, and they may look at you and give you that kind of funny look, like, huh, I thought she planned on, or he planned on not doing that anymore, or not doing that, or whatnot. But bro, you still look exactly the same, or you're still doing the exact same thing, or you're still behaving the exact same way. Um, and that's not a reflection on them. That's just a reflection on you. You can't then try to throw whatever New Year's goals or whatever, in their face, because they're calling, they may be calling you out, or maybe they're just looking at you in a certain way. Sometimes it could be inside your head, or maybe they're just calling you out on it because they're family or they're friends, and they feel comfortable doing that, or they're that one jerk that at work or whatnot, who decides to just say something because they need to say it. um but I just say, don't take it to heart. um this is, it's only, it's been like, what, almost a week, probably a week. I'm not sure. I've been too busy to keep up with the days. But take it easy. You're gonna succeed in your New Year's resolution. That's regardless of the fact, you're going to succeed. You just need to take your time with it, and don't overburden yourself with too many goals. I would say, depending on what you're doing in your life, depending on your schedule, it might be one, it might be four. That's the ratio of numbers of goals I would say would be inappropriate to have. One to four, that's a reasonable number. And depending on what they are, some might take, more time than others. So, that's another thing that you need to work on is, scheduling your time for, this new year and for your goals. If you're not taking the time to schedule yourself properly, and if you, stretch yourself too thin, you're not going to really succeed in things because you might be tired. Depending on what you're doing for work in your life, you might be overwhelmed. So don't put on too many goals. I think that's the biggest problem that we all have is that we have so many goals and dreams that we want to accomplish, but we just put so much on our plate, so many expectations, and we become overwhelmed and we become afraid and we become insecure and we start creating excuses for ourselves and we start avoiding the goals. And a lot of it can be to life, could be to relationships, it can be to what you're dealing with mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. All those things play a part in how you succeed in your goals and if you don't succeed in your goals. And I don't mean to sound like a jerk or trying to like, yell in people's faces, because if I sound like that, I apologize. It's not my intention. But, we just don't hold ourselves accountable enough. And that's something that needs to change. And even for yourself, if you're not holding yourself accountable, but you're expecting everyone else and you're holding them all accountable, what are you doing? You're part of the problem. And people are going to see that and they're going to notice that and they might distance themselves from you. And that's another problem that we kind of face in our lives is that, when we are striving with our goals, when we have this new year, we need to, we're going to cleanse all these negative people. We're going to cleanse all these toxic people. We're going to get rid of all that. And I say, yes, that's important. That's valid. But make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. I think that's probably the whole point of this first episode is, with a new year, new you, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, that you are doing it for the right reasons. You are doing it because it benefits you. You are doing it to grow. You are doing it to become a better person, to be better at your job, to be better at your career, to be better at your hobbies, to be better as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a mom, as a father, as a son, as a daughter. You need to be doing it for the right reasons. And yeah, you can be doing it for your family or any of those people that I just brought up. Yes, but make sure that you're doing it because you get better and that makes the relationship and the experiences and it makes them a better person. That's the most important part, I feel, especially when you're trying to succeed in your goals and you're trying to start this new year off. Start this new year off spreading that feeling of succeeding and wanting to follow through with your goals and your dreams for the new year. We got to spread that. Don't hold it in. Share that energy, motivate other people, support them. Hey, it's okay. You didn't make it to the gym today, but hey, I'm sure you make it up tomorrow, okay? Try to make it up tomorrow. Don't give up. You got it. You got this. You got to stay positive. Hey, okay, so you had a cookie today. You gave up. It was a stressful day. I understand. You gave in. It happens. We all make those mistakes. But try to make up for it tomorrow. Maybe try to have something that's sweet like a fruit. Try something like that. Try to make up for those, little mistakes that we make, those little mishaps when we're trying to succeed in our goals. Hold yourself accountable, acknowledge the mistake, acknowledge why you did it, and then work. Just keep on working and know you're going to make those mistakes. We're only human. I think we really forget that. I think we really truly do forget how human we are. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay that you didn't succeed in your goal within a month. It's okay. It may, it's okay that it took you an entire year to succeed in one goal. That's okay. No one can take that away from you. You did it. And you can also keep in mind that not everyone else would have done that. Not everyone else could have done what you did. And if you have one goal and it takes half a decade, fine. But at least through at least half of that decade, you never gave up. People spat in your face about it. People told you you weren't going to succeed. Even you told yourself you weren't going to succeed, but you kept on going and it paid off and it made you a better person. But the key is if you did it for the right reasons. And that's just the reality of the situation. We tend to not really think about if we're doing things for the right reasons, and it spreads. And we teach our kids that. We teach our friends that. We associate with people like that who talk and do this stuff, but it's not really for the right reasons. And they might be trying to use you, they might be trying to manipulate you. And it's sad that we live in a world like that. But you don't have to be part of the problem. You can be the solution. So that wraps up this episode of the Monday Mindset podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts below. Make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. Stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.